You're listening to Let Me Speak to a Manager with Frank Cava and Ian Matthews.
What a crock of shit.
Yeah, that was hot mic, Sam.
It's 30 minutes away. I'll be there in 10.
Do it live! I'll write it and we'll do it live!
What up, loyal listeners? The episode you are about to listen to is the story of how we somehow got Shaquille O'Neal to show up at a parking garage and record a half hour of footage for our tech startup. We recorded a 2-part episode a few years back, and it talked about how we bid on Shaquille O'Neal, an hour of his time, which turned into close to 3 hours of his time at a Four Seasons, where we shared with him the vision of our product. And at the time, we had a rough prototype that barely did anything, but we shared the vision with him, and we've stayed in touch with Shaquille O'Neal since. This episode that you're about to listen to was recorded in October of 2023. Why did it take us so long to drop this episode, which right now it is May 2025, so a year and a half later? Well, in this episode, I share that our device was much farther along, but still had some issues. And when someone of the stature of Shaquille O'Neal, both in size, but in popularity, 32 million followers and a global iconic brand, is cool enough, does you a favor to record video that could serve as an advertisement, the last thing you want to do is use that to sell a product that you are not 100% confident in. And over the past year and a half, we've been furiously working to knock all of the bugs out that keep our device from working properly. And the last thing we want to do is run an ad with Shaquille O'Neal, sell a whole bunch of car alarms, and then have him catch a lot of flack online stating that their device wasn't working, or, commenting on him or DMing. So if he was going to do us a favor, we wanted to be very certain that the product was in great shape. And as we stand here in May of 2025, that's exactly how we feel about our tech startup, Keep Technologies, which, loyal listeners, you will know that I don't just consult and do management training. I am an early seed investor and part-time CRO in tech startup. So this episode, as you listen to it, Frank is hearing all of this for the first time. So he knew I was going to be with Shaq all day. He knew that we were nervous to make sure that this demo that we were doing for him in Atlanta was going to work. And I told him nothing other than I have a whopper of a story for you. So as you listen to this episode, we recorded a year and a half ago when we were on our sabbatical from the podcast. And Frank is hearing every bit of this story just as you are about to for the first time. So hope you enjoy it. We had a blast recording it. Frankie!
Ian, you son of a bitch!
Frankie, are we back?
No, we are absolutely not back.
Okay. Well, we're back for an episode here. Is that what's happening?
Yes. We're going to confuse people. One episode, and then we're going away.
Loyal listeners, if you are sad and you've been missing Frank and I, we miss you too. But Frankie and I needed a bit of a sabbatical. We both got a lot of shit going on.
We still love each other, but we are busy.
Still love each other, but Frankie and I have had a couple of our long, deep talks in the last couple of weeks, both with some shit he's stressed about at work and some shit I'm stressed about at work. And a couple of the calls we got like 3/4 of the way through and said, we should have recorded that. That was a great call. And this is one of those calls that we just had to record. Not so much for you, dear listeners, but more for our selfish reasons. It's too good of a story that I am going to tell Frank this story for the first time. So he knows nothing about this. He's dying to know why I was in Atlanta yesterday.
Well, I know why he was there. I just don't know what happened.
What happened?
Play like a champion today, Ian. Play like a champion.
That's right. So, Frankie, do you recall from the last time we did our podcast episode on Ian's meeting with Shaq, parts 1 and 2? That was back when we were so full of ourselves that we thought people would stick around for a second episode, which they don't.
One of us was.
Yep. Oh,
This really needs to be one episode, Ian. That's too good of a story. Let me drag it out to 9 hours.
fuck you, Frank. Fuck you.
I've heard Killers of the Flower Moon is also too long.
For
My
sure.
wife told me you'll be watching that alone. And that's been 3.5 hours watching that fucking thing. Keep
So
going.
do you recall how Shaq came into the universe of Keep Technologies, our startup?
So we're going to go a little bit backwards, right? Like Ian and I have been friends for years. He has a friend of his that he met while he was at GE, serial entrepreneur. This kid was on the precursor of Shark Tank. His name is David. He sold that business, got an MBA, met Ian at GE. Then this guy quits GE. His wife has a great job, goes out and builds another company. Ian invests his money. And for 7-8 years, while Ian's waiting to get his money back, he's like, fuck that. I just put $50,000 in an envelope, burn it. Turns out he didn't. David returned it to Ian. And then David, went out, sowed his wild oats and figured out what the universe was missing. And what the universe was missing to David is basically a Ring camera for your car. And he has embarked upon a life of building that. David lives in Atlanta. I get a call from Ian 2.5 years ago. He's like, you're never going to believe this. David just won a charity auction for the Boys and Girls Club of Atlanta. It was over 5 figures, and it's going to be 1 hour with Shaq. So it took like 3 to 6 months to set that meeting up. Ian and I talked a lot about what's he getting? Like I had no real input. I was just listening. What are we going to wear? Are we going to ask for autographs? What's the story with Shaq? And they end up meeting at the Four Seasons. Shaq shows up, eats a fruit plate. They have an incredible meeting. Does that catch us up fairly well from my perspective?
Pretty good. Yeah, it's really interesting. So I'm going to get into why I was there yesterday, but we use Slack, which is a messaging system for tech instead of emails. So you can go search Slack and you type in Shaq, Shaquille O'Neal, and we type in Shaq. And it goes all the way back to February of 2021. So 2.5 years ago is when we won this auction. And David and I were going back and forth. There was actually a menu. So these things you can go bid on getting an hour of time from lots of people. And there was NFL players, there was comedians, there was all kinds of stuff. And we were brainstorming which of these would make sense. And Shaq is the obvious one. And David actually was bidding on a former Purdue linebacker who now plays for the Falcons because he thought I might like it. I was like, David, don't. That guy sucks. I don't really care. So we bid, and I remember being really nervous the night before because we were like, how much? And,
it was a lot.
It was $11,000.
Yeah.
And that's real money to a startup, as you know. In the very beginning, when you have no sales, we had nothing. We just had a vessel that sometimes worked. It was a prototype, one prototype. It seemed like we were really nervous about how to tell the investors we went and spent money on an auction to go meet with Shaq because it doesn't immediately make a lot of sense. But to us, it did because Shaq had a background in law enforcement. He is 32 million followers. He's a fantastic marketer. He's
32 followers on Instagram.
Great.
Serial entrepreneur. Something I was talking to a friend about the other day when Papa John stepped on his dick and made a bunch of stupid remarks. They had Shaq 2 weeks later recorded and new ads out because Shaq owns 200 Papa Johns. He's great in front of a camera. Who doesn't love Shaq? And he's a pitch man. He is an incredible pitch man.
So that meeting went fantastic, and we did a whole podcast on it. I'm not going to go through it again. It's there if you want to go listen, but it was fantastic. It happened at the Four Seasons. Turns out Shaq had a bunch of cars broken into, and one was recent from the last time we did it. But this was 2 years ago when we met him. So since then, we've kind of kept him on a drip, where I just really, this part of the story, I just like telling my son all the time that Shaq texted me because if
you like telling everybody that, you like telling me that, it's fantastic.
Everyone that will listen, I tell Shaq texted me. It's always a happy day when he sends me something. So he, I would just send him different things, Frankie, hey, here's a video we just posted. Here's us at CES in Las Vegas. Hey, we were at TechCrunch. Hey, we just went and saw Gary Vee. So kind of every 2 or 3 months, I just found a reason to send him a text. And so did David. David sent some things, sent some emails. And the last few I've sent, it's starting to look like we're more of a company. We're able to show him real demos. We're able to show him actual customers giving us reviews, sending real things. And the last couple, he's kind of been
that
like,
even means you.
even Paxton's not really a real customer. I don't think he's taken out of the box, unlike you, who I know has installed both perfectly and are using your product, right, Frank?
Correct.
Yeah. So he has been asking me, how do I buy it? Like, where do I buy it? How do I buy it? And I've been blowing him off because the last time he asked, our product wasn't really there. So it's a blessing to have someone interested with 32 million followers. It could also be a curse if that person thinks your product is shit. You only get one chance to kind of make a first impression. So we've kind of been putting him off a little bit. And the last kind of go back and forth I had with him was around Christmas. And I'd sent him a bunch of pictures. Hey, our new production devices are coming out, big fella, blah, 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 blah. And it was like, where do I buy one? And I was like, we're not going to make you buy one. We'll bring you one when we've pre-sold all these, blah, blah, blah. And so like on Monday of this week, Frankie, I come into the office and I had got up early in the morning, worked out, and I saw something on Instagram, and I thought, like, we get so much garbage from frauds that like send us Instagram messages saying they're Facebook, they're this, they're that. Can we work together? And I saw, for some reason, Shaq's like, he has like Shaquille O'Neal ED. Or like, I thought it said like MD or something. I'm like, what is this garbage? Like someone's messaging us that says Shaq. And I, just in my head was like, I'll look at this later, but it's 5:30. I'm going to the gym. And humble brag, win the day, win the morning. So get back, and there's a message from Moeller saying, holy shit, Shaq messaged us and tried to call us on Instagram last night. Now, I don't even know it's possible, Frankie, to did you know that you can do like a video call on Instagram?
What's Instagram?
Exactly. Okay. That's a perfect answer for you. So anyway, he tried to call us at like 11:30 at night. David and I both have young kids, so what are we doing at 11:30 at night?
Sleeping.
We're sleeping like any other person. Shaq doesn't go to bed at 11:30. Shaq stays up all night. So I text him in the morning. And I'm like, hey, Shaq, like...
You sent you got me screenshots of this. You sent out a very well thought through 3-line text. And Ian will say it took seconds. It took 20 minutes to type that text properly, make sure the details were in there. It was literally a 3-line text that was smart, purposeful, had a call to action, had a next step, and all of you marketing geniuses out there, it had all of it. And it was ready to rock and roll. And Ian was like...
We'll put it in the show notes. Should we put it in the show notes, Frank? My text?
There is no doubt.
You're really making it seem like a real banger. But, okay, so, yes, absolutely don't want to play it too cool. I edit the shit out of anything I send to Shaq. It gets double checked, triple checked, spell checked.
I don't type it for you, for example. The size of these thumbs, Frankie's not getting near my phone.
Every word has a purpose, and I will pull it out if it's not. But yeah, pretty much said, like, want to get together. I saw your text. But his Instagram message to us, said, how do I invest in this company? Not how do I buy a car alarm? How do I invest in the company?
Yep.
So David and I are talking before I even text. And I'm like, Dave, I wonder if he's even putting 2 and 2 together that the guy he's been texting for 2 years is me and you, the guys he met at Four Seasons, is the video he just saw. Because, I've sent him a bunch of Instagram and Facebook links to stuff before. And so, you know how it is. Once you watch one, you get in the mix and it sends you more like that. So I sent him this brilliant text, and this is what Shaq texts me back.
I think you should read yours and then let me play the role of Shaq because it's fucking incredible.
Okay, great. So my text, hey Shaq, exclamation point. Sorry I missed your call on Instagram last night, but saw your message about investing. Want to get together again at Four Seasons in Atlanta with David and me so we can update you on progress with our car alarm and sales. Ian Matthews, Keep. P.S. We're in Las Vegas for SEMA Fest next week in case you're out there.
How long was it before Shaq replied?
Shaq replied, I sent that at 8:58 a.m. on Tuesday morning. Sorry, Tuesday morning. We were
Yep.
recording this on Friday.
Yep.
And Shaq responded at 9:01 a.m.
3 minutes later.
3 minutes later, he texted me back.
And if you have thumbs the size of mine, you don't like to type. If you have thumbs the size of Shaq's, I guess you like to type less. Shaq's reply was this: Thursday. Which, when he had sent me that, I go, scramble the jet.
For sure. Okay, Thursday. Like that's Shaq's response. He also kind of had one in there where he was like, "Holy shit, this is you." Like it was like he didn't really put together when. And Dave was like, "How did you pick up on?"
You were monitoring your own Instagram account.
Like I've been texting this guy about car alarms, but I didn't pick up on the fact that so I think there's all of this is in his back of his head because he's got a lot going on. He doesn't think about us all the time, obviously. So this was on he said that on like Tuesday. So I'm like, Dave, we're meeting Shaq on Thursday. And I responded to him with cool, where and when. And then this is when the best part of the story comes out. I say, cool, when and when. This is at 1:00. At 2:00, I get a FaceTime call from Shaq. And I look down on it, Frankie, and I got pretty much the same clothes on I got now. I got a black t-shirt on, a hat on, my glasses. And I look down and I'm like, holy shit, that's not a phone call. It's a FaceTime message from Shaq. Like, how do I answer? So many things went through my head. Like, how do I answer? I got to pick up. Oh my God, should I take my glasses off? He's never seen me in glasses. I didn't have them on the last time. What do I say to Shaq? I can't say to Ian because I'm going to see his face the second I hit this little green circle. It's Shaq.
I think this is the perfect time to insert something from Shawshank Redemption. I like to think that the last thing that went through the warden's head, besides that bullet.
So for sure, I'm nervous as hell. I'm like, God damn it, what do you say to Shaquille O'Neal? So I pick up, and in all of my brilliance, I nailed it. I say, what's up, dude? And he just stares at me. There's Shaq's face on the other end just staring at me when I scream, what's up, dude, at him. And he kind of just starts laughing, and he's like, man, that alarm looks really good. And then he starts getting into like, the size of it and can you get it out? And, he asked me a few, like, did you show me that exact alarm when we got together at Four Seasons? I'm like, yeah, but it's hard to understand what it does when you just see a hunk of plastic. That's like, it's different. David likes to say, and it's a beautiful way of saying our device, if you take it out of a car, it's hard to understand what it is. It's like a hermit crab. If you took a hermit crab and took the shell away, it would just look ugly and weird. You wouldn't get it. But with the shell on, you kind of get it. Like, oh, it's a hermit crab. Yeah. So we talked for a second, and he said where we were going to meet and what time. And he was driving. He was like in a parking garage. And I'm just the whole time like losing my mind that I'm having a FaceTime chat with Shaquille O'Neal. I'm like,
yeah, of course,
all paranoid about what angle I'm holding the phone and, what's in the background and what's going on. And he says, before he gets off the phone with me, he says, bring you a little camera crew. And I was like, inside, like World War III was going off, like nuclear bomb was going off of excitement inside of me. And I kept my shit together. And I was like, of course.
Fuck yeah.
Of course I got a camera crew. Yeah. I'm going to call Frank because he has one that follows him around everywhere he goes, like Gary Vee. So I got the phone and I called David and I'm like, I just talked to Shaq. He FaceTimed me. And like more than that, while we were FaceTiming, I took a couple screenshots of the FaceTime and sent it to Dave. Like, guess what's going on right now? And he's like, no way you're FaceTiming with Shaq. It's like, yeah, that's what I'm doing. So we got a camera crew, which we've used one before for a number of different things we've done. And they're really good. And they were on short notice. They were all about this. And David like immediately went into like we have so many things going on in our company engineering wise. And he was like, I'm done. Like all we're doing is Shaq for the next 2 days. It's now Tuesday at like 3. And we're meeting with Shaq sometime on Thursday at 4. We have 48 hours to make sure that whatever demo, whatever we do is going to be great. So we knew we were going to meet him at the Four Seasons. He normally crashes there. I think he might have a condo there, Frankie. It might be one of those Four Seasons that have townhomes and condos, because everyone in this place knows Shaq. It's like every employee there is one of his employees. They all knew him. I'll tell you more about that in a minute. But we wanted to tell him, like, we needed somewhere to show him a demo. And we were like, God, do we do this at Valet where there's going to be 1,000 people taking pictures? Is that really, like, on one side, that's good because it's a ton of energy, lots of people. It looks organic. It looks like he just stumbled into it. But on the other side, there's a ton of
too hard to manage.
Everyone wants to take pictures with him. So David found a parking garage that's not part of the Four Seasons that's adjacent to that building. But you kind of had to walk like a block. You had to walk a block and go up an elevator and then take a flight of stairs. I was a little worried, like, is Shaq going to want to walk that far? He's a major celebrity, and you're asking him to walk a block. And dude doesn't have security. He doesn't run. He's big. He's not scared of many people. So we were worried about that, but we got there. And for 2 days, David and Jonathan's our CTO, were just working around the clock, practicing, making sure they picked the right one. They downloaded all the firmware to make the install go a lot faster than it would for a normal customer that goes through, because you're doing a demo. We didn't know, is he going to give us 2 minutes? Is it 5 minutes? You don't, like, Frank's right. The texts I get from Shaq are normally 10 words or less, and they're sort of cryptic, and and I get it, because big thumbs, it's hard to type. Frank doesn't like typing text, so it's like, okay. So all they did was worry about, will the device work, for 2 days. And all I'm worried about is Shaq going to show up? Like, I had to get a flight, I had to get out there, get a hotel. Where are we setting it up? Is he going to be there on time? How am I going to get him to where the demo is, where the camera crew is waiting? We didn't know if the camera crew would be able to go into Bar Margot at Four Seasons. So we told them, let's go set up at this parking garage. And Frankie, I got to send you pictures. We picked the most beautiful. It's unbelievable. It's the 10th floor, top floor, perfect sun. It was 78 degrees, right? No clouds. It was just a gorgeous, perfect setting for it. And so we got there at like 11 or 12 that day, and we were supposed to meet him at 4:30 at Four Seasons, and just kept practicing our device. So our device, it has sensors that chirp at you when you get close to it, and it alarms if you get inside. It runs pictures, videos, and for a great demo, you want to get, if Shaq's going to do a demo, you want his face on your camera. You want to be able to then show him on the phone, like, look, we just got to, there you are, Shaq, smiling. We want to be able to show him all that. And like, of course, with hardware, we are having a bunch of problems with delivery on the alarm. One of the devices was kicking ass for deterrence. The other one was doing good for alarms. And they both weren't doing it perfectly, of course, right? Like, so, because we made some adjustments in our software to make the video and picture even better than it normally is, if that makes sense. But when you make adjustments on the fly, things go wrong. Like, things go wrong in the programming. And so Dave was just stressed. We were going to show him an uninstall where you can unlock it out of the cup holder and then reinstall it right on the fly. I really love that aspect of the device, that you can pull it in and out of other cars. And they tried it and it went all wonky. And Dave's like, we're not doing that. We're not saying anything about uninstall. We're not going to bring it up to him. We're just going to do this. So we rent a car. So we have a Range Rover that we're going to show.
Dave's car? Dave's the Range Rover?
Range Rover. So we have his device in that one. And then Shaq owns like 50 cars, but we know one of them is a Challenger. We also
told you that last time, I remember.
Yeah, he has a Hellcat. And so we went and you ever heard of Turo?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so Turo is like Airbnb for vehicles.
Yeah.
So we went and rented a Dodge Challenger. And of course, David goes to pick it up right before there, brings it over. It reeks like weed. I mean, it is a weed factory. Like, he rolled the windows down and let air blow through it all day, and it still reeked like weed. So it's kind of like, oh, okay, we got a weed car here. We got to make sure we tell him this is like rented. We're not a bunch of pot smokers, which I'm sure wouldn't freak Shaq out. But if you're going to invest in a company, you don't want them to be pot smokers. So, well, maybe we'll see. So we get both those cars set up, perfect angle. We got shots of you have the shots of the city behind are so unbelievable. Like, you see
You
the
sent
whole
me that picture. That's the only one I got.
They're gorgeous, weren't they? Like,
Yeah.
the shots of the skyscrapers all around. We mapped the route, how to walk there, how to the literally
Everything was choreographed.
least possible steps you could take. Everything.
The only thing that isn't choreographed about this entire ththing is this podcast. Everything else was well thought through.
That's true.
Yes.
And so it's now like 2:00, and this we're practicing the alarm, we're doing our thing, getting ready, and the camera crew's not there yet. They're about to show up, and this nerdy guy comes up onto the 10th floor with like a freaking badge on his hip.
Oh no.
That's like building security. And we just kind of look at him like, God damn it, and like walk over like, hey man, how you doing? He's like, what are you guys doing? And like, he's just Paul Blart mall cop kind of a dork, right? Takes the job way too serious. And we're like, we're just testing out a consumer product. That's all we're doing. Like, what do you mean? What do you mean you're testing? We're like, we're a tech startup, we started kind of telling them what we're doing, and we're testing with different lighting, with different cell coverage patterns. We paid to be in the parking lot. And they're like, well, are you filming? Is this for commercial purposes? Because you need a permit for that. And we're like, you got to be kidding me. Like, who do we need to talk to about this? And he's like, well, I'm going to tell you right now, it's not going to fly. You're going to have to talk to the guys over at across the street, second floor. That's the management company, blah, 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 blah. There's a guy over there by the name of whatever, Colin or something. It was like, okay. So we're like, this guy's going to suck. Like, he's about to blow it. We didn't tell him like, hey, we got Shaq coming here, because he's already into permits. And it's like, God damn it. Like, why if anything could go wrong, it always goes wrong. So we spend, like, Frankie, a half hour walking around the whole block looking for alternative places where we could park the cars. But it was like, you're in Buckhead. It's like, think about where you put a Four Seasons. You put it in the most busy fucking places. So everywhere we could have parked would have had people all around, coming around, taking pictures, taking shots. Like, and we could have run into more of that shit. So we're like, screw it. Let's just go to that management company. Like, we found a place that if we had to would have been okay, but it wouldn't have been as good. And we went to the management company, and we just put the hard pitch on this manager. Like, look, here's what's going on. We'll tell you the truth. We're working with a celebrity. Doesn't want his name to be known, but if his name was known, it would be Shaquille O'Neal. Like, the guy started laughing. He's like, you guys are working with Shaq? We're like, yeah. And it's a really big moment for our company. And God damn, it would be really cool if you just would turn a blind eye on this one time. It's 30 minutes. We'll be out of your hair. Nothing crazy is going on. Can you call
I
up?
would have told him it's a car alarm, and like, we'll give you each a car alarm. Like, you guys are in the car business.
See, the car alarm was bugging them because they were like, it's really loud and it gets the attention of police. We don't like the police. So the car alarm, we were trying to downplay the alarm.
Okay, you didn't say that part. That makes sense.
Yeah. So this guy ended up being really cool and like kind of sympathized a little with us. He's like, all right, I get it. I get what you guys are doing. That's really cool. I'm like, yeah, look out your window. You'll see the big fella around 4:30 roll up out there. So it's like, disaster averted, thank God. So I am a nervous wreck all day. So
it's almost like I was in the backseat of that cab.
Yes, exactly. So I'm a nervous
That may
wreck
or
all
may not
day
have happened.
for different reasons. I'm just ignoring what you're saying. For different reasons. Jonathan and David are completely nervous the device isn't going to do its job perfectly because they want to be perfect. This is really
it's a big moment.
For the company. And I'm really nervous Shaq's not going to show up because the last text I have was like yesterday saying, deal, see you at 4:30. So I sent him a couple of pictures showing the cars parked. We found this really, what did I say to him? I'll read you the exact quote that I said. So I sent him pictures of the roof deck and showing him the different cars and blah, 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 blah. And said, hey, we're set up at the parking garage right next to Four Seasons. It's very private. The entrance to the elevator is a half-block walk directly down the street from the lobby. David and I will meet you at Bar Margot at 4:30 and walk down so we can demo the devices. Then we can head back to the hotel and catch up on business if you still have time. So he doesn't respond to that. Like, I sent that at 2:00. He doesn't respond to that for the next 2.5 hours. So I get no response, and I'm like, God damn it. I just got all these guys to stop doing everything they're doing for 2 days, and he's not going to show. Or, like, you would understand he got something more important to happen than us. So we go to Bar Margot, which is at the Four Seasons, and, like, we're all just nervous, Frank. Like,
is he going to come? Is he not?
Yeah, like, David's picking at me that my lavalier mic is pointed the wrong direction, and can you just change it? And I'm saying, quit being my mom. I'll have the audio guy do it. And we're just grumbling at each other like an old married couple because we're nervous and stressed out. And I go over to one of the hostesses that's working there, and I say, look, can I get a table at like 5:30? I'm not sure exactly when, but we're gonna be leaving here with a guest and coming back. And there'll be 3 or 4 of us there, but one of the guests is rather large, so a bigger table in the corner. He's a little more of a celebrity, and she's like, who are you talking about? And I'm like, Shaq. She goes, oh yeah, you guys are the ones he's going to shoot some camera stuff with. And I'm like, oh my God, yes, like, he's coming. Like, she's like, yeah, his mom's here right now. She's in town. So he had some lunch with her earlier. She's still hanging out here. So yeah, he's expecting you guys. So sure, we'll make sure to just keep that table open all night. But it was like really clear everyone knows Shaq, and it's Four Seasons. They're discreet about that kind of stuff.
Of course. And they're also one of the few places on earth where you can actually still get customer service.
Amazing,
incredible.
Amazing customer service. So we're sitting down there and just waiting for him to come, and down from the elevator, we could see the elevators. He comes rolling out, and he's got this like all maroon kind of like sweatshirt and sweatpants, like kick-ass outfit, awesome, like with maroon shoes, his size 26s or whatever. And he kind of comes sauntering over, and he sees us, but he makes a beeline to his mom, who's in there, which I thought was cool. And he didn't talk to us at first because it was like 4:15. Then you see him leave with his mom. And like, I didn't want to get up and run over and shake his hand. And,
no, of course not.
I just kind of played it cool and waited, because thankfully that the hostess took my stress down. If I wouldn't have talked to her,
yeah,
I probably would have rushed up to him and not known his mom was there. So he goes up to his room, comes back down, and I get a text at like 4:29 saying, I'm here. And then I'm looking around, we don't see him. And he had gone all the way down to the main floor lobby. So, we come down, and it's like, hey, Shaq. And like this time when he walked up, like the first time we met him, we just reached our hand out and shook hands like normal humans. This time when he saw us, he just got this big grin on his face, and he's like, hey, and he starts laughing, and he does like one of the bring it in for a bro hug kind of handshakes. Frankie.
It's like hugging a fucking city block.
It brings you back to like when your dad hugged you when you were 5. Like, it's like if you give Max a hug, how he must feel when you lean down all the way just to give him a hug. You can't get your arms like really around him. He's like, his back is so wide and strong. Like,
when I hug my 5-year-old like that, he usually giggles and farts. Did you giggle and fart?
I giggled and farted as Shaq hugged me. But it is like, Shaq, you're like reaching, like even with him leaning over, you're like having to reach up. It's awesome. We introduced Jonathan, who's our CTO, and he says, you look like a CTO. And he starts laughing, which is his line. He loves that line.
He said that to you. You look like an Ian.
Yep. And so we tell him like, hey, did you see my text? We're going to walk down the street. And he's like, oh, we're walking? And I'm like, oh shit, I hope he doesn't have too much. I'm like, it's really close, really close, really close. And so we start walking. I text the camera guys, hey, we're less than 5 minutes. Get those cameras on the door. And start walking. We walk by a Subway. Shaq goes, oh man, I'm hungry. Subway sounds great. And I'm like, don't you own a bunch of those or something? And he's like, no, that's Barkley. I got Papa John's. I was like, oh, okay. And so we get to the elevator.
He literally said that's Barkley?
Said that's Barkley. Yeah, that's Barkley. I got Papa John's.
That's fucking awesome.
That's exactly what he said. So we get in the elevator. So Frankie, We get in the elevator. We've only done a little bit of small talk. I'm just kind of prepping him on what to expect while we're walking. I'm like, so we got 2 cars. We got a Challenger and a Range Rover, a couple cameras. I just don't want him to be surprised by anything up there.
Yep.
Reminding him that you told me to get a camera crew, so we'll put a mic on you when we get up there. We had instructed the video guys as soon as we get out, we don't want to lose any audio. Literally just go up and mic him up. He's used to getting mic'd every night.
Yeah.
This is not going to be news for him. So we get in the elevator, right? Which Shaq in an elevator, hilarious, right? And like,
do you have to duck?
We're nervous, right?
You have to duck?
Yeah. Oh yeah. He's got to duck to get into the elevator. It's, definitely ducked to get in. He doesn't have to duck while he's standing. He had to duck to get through the door.
Okay.
But we get we get in, and like we're just all nervous. And I think like David like kind of blurts out like, I didn't check the weight limit on this thing, and I'll like look at it. A little bit of an awkward thing to say, but we're just all nervous, right? And so listen, the elevator door closes, and he goes, "So you guys raising money right now, or are you guys looking for investors?" And like I look at like this is like point 25 on our agenda. This was not something we were looking to talk about in the elevator before the demo.
This wasn't in the agenda on foreplay.
Before the demo, like we're still at build some rapport. We haven't even got there, right? So
yeah.
I'm like, well, yeah. I mean, we do have another round that we're going to be raising pretty soon, and that'll be just for inventory. And he goes, I want in that. And we're like, we can make that happen. Playing it as cool as we can, but again, like another one inside, we're just like jabbing our fist.
We've committed some of this to McHenry, but
now this is a guy that we could ask for the whole raise on, other than McHenry was like, I don't know if I got all that. So we get off the elevator, having already been told that he's investing in the company, and we open the door, and Frankie, he goes from like sort of quiet and subdued a little bit to as soon as the doors open and there's 2 cameras on him.
He opened.
He's Shaq. He is everything you've ever seen on TV. Like the showman. It was unbelievable. Like the camera guy did his job. He put the lavalier on him right out of the gate. And he, patiently kind of waited for the guy to hook him up and didn't, like, he just expected it. And then like this, I look and the frickin' security guy is back, and he's over there with his car, and his car's like in the way of some of the shots, and he's standing there, and like Holt, one of our camera guys, like, yeah, this guy's been telling us we got to get out of here. And I'm like, we've dealt with this already. Like, we talked to that guy's manager. So Shaq, this is awesome.
Shaq tells me get the fuck out of the way.
No, so I'm getting ready. So I'm getting ready to go over to like be like, get the hell out of here. We already talked to your boy Colin or whatever.
Shaq goes gives him a huge hug.
So Shaq just like, hold on. And he just starts kind of slowly making his way over to this guy. He's kind of got this long, slow gait about him, like not in a hurry to get anywhere. And he walks up to the guy, and the guy walks up, and his eyes are like, holy shit. And he's like, hey, brother, how you doing, man? He reaches out, shakes his hand. He goes, I hope you don't mind. We're just going to be up here for a minute with my friends. We're going to record a few things. I'll be out of your hair. We're not. And he's like, Of course, Shaq. Of course. It was really nice to meet you. And he's shaking his hand. Shaq's like, man, I appreciate that. Smiles, like pats him on the shoulder. Guy gets in his car and leaves. Never came back. And like, I'm looking at Dave like, this dude is magical. Like, people love, and even just Frankie on the way there, we must have walked by 10 groups of people. Every one of them, hey, Shaq, hey, Shaq. And like, it's like, he just smiles. He's really
gracious. He understands it.
Smiles. He's not like a typical pro athlete that wants to like, give me my, like, he's like, he embraces it. But like, soon as the camera, so he comes back after kicking out Mall Cop, and he's now mic'd up. And I'm kind of standing there, and he leans over to me and he goes, what's the name of this product again? And I said, Keep Car Alarm. We call it the Keep Car Alarm. And he goes, okay, get out of my shot, Ian. And he pushes me. He says, get out of my shot. Points at one of our camera guys, says, you here right in front of me. I'm looking at you.
He directs him.
You come over here, get a side view of this. Okay, now look at, grabs it, and he goes, I just bought this Keep Car Alarm because I'm sick of people getting in. He looks right in the camera. He's like, this is Shaq, whatever. He starts talking right into the camera, puts it down. He goes, follow me. Let's go try to break into one of these cars. They got one of these keep car alarms stuck in. And dude, it was like a cartoon. He did like the old school cartoon tippy toe, like, you know, like you would see in like an old cartoon with a guy with a mask on. He tippy toes up to the car and he gets really close. Like, I think we can get in. And he like would look at the camera and then he gets close and it goes chirp, chirp, and it does its job. It chirps and he goes, oh, damn, something's in there. And then he tiptoes around like, let's try the other side. And he comes around and then he like shimmies like this, like he was on like a prison wall with a flashlight on him. He swings around right into it and it chirps again. He goes, oh. And then he tries to like get into the back window to look and it chirped again at him. And he's like, and he keeps looking into the camera like, let's try to open the door. Let's see what happens. And he walks up and he opens the door and the like things go off and he goes, oh, and he like looks at the camera and then like he closes it and then he looks at the camera again. It stops the alarm and he goes, the alarm stopped. Maybe we can get in this time. Opens it. Alarm goes off again. It's so loud. He looks at the camera on his right, and he does like the kung fu mouth where he goes for like 10 seconds as the alarm's going off. Alarm stops and he goes, that was so loud you probably didn't hear all that stuff I just told you, right? Like, dude, he riffed all of this in one take. All of it in one take. And then he's like, so how's these things Ian, how's this thing install? And he's like, can we do an install? We didn't want to do an install because the install didn't work.
Yeah.
It hadn't worked that morning, right?
Yep.
Or the day before. And so like David, we were going to tell him why. And David kind of had like a whole line and we both were going to kind of try to steer him away from doing the install on the deck because we had just set him up for demo purposes. And one of our camera guys goes, yeah, that's great. Let's do the install. And like you see David's face, like look at him and he's like, yeah, let's do an install. And he just smiles at me and I'm like, well, here we go. And so Shaq walks over to the Range Rover and Dave starts trying to explain some of the technology behind it and some of the challenges we've had and all this. And like he cuts Dave off. Dave gets like 30 seconds into engineering speak and he cuts Dave off and he goes, blah, 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 blah. Get in the car. Let's do the install. I didn't hear a thing you just said. And it's all on audio and video. It's amazing. So like, I'll share it all with you later. It's fantastic because he did not care about how we used any of the video or audio. So get in. Shaq trying to get into a Range Rover is hilarious. He does not fit in. It's not a Range Rover Sport either. Even with the seat all the way back, he does not fit in the passenger seat of a Range Rover at all. So he crams himself in though. And so I sent you the picture, right, of the cameras kind of trying to show him.
No, you didn't send me that.
I'll send you that. That's awesome. Definitely will be in the show notes.
For sure.
And, we
in
get
HD, of course. In HD.
Dave gets the app out, shows him how to do an uninstall, and then he does it. He uninstalls it and he reinstalls it, and it all works. But every time Frank, he'd be like, "What are you doing there, Dave?" He's like, "Well, you twist it and the legs go out." And then Shaq would stop him, and he would look at the camera. It was amazing. He'd look at the camera and go, "You just twist it to install it, and that's it?" And Dave's like, "That's it." He goes, "That's amazing." And then he would go to the next and he's like, "Wait, what's that noise?" He goes, "Well, it's a motor mechanism. It locks in." He goes, "It locks in so a thief can't pull it out and throw it out?" That's amazing. Like he just kept looking at the camera like he was cutting a commercial. It was ridiculous. Then it goes through and he's like, "Great job."
Fucking best 12 grand you've ever spent.
Dude, it's like, yeah, from like 3 years ago, like we're still getting residuals. And in fact, like, because I told Robin this is going on, he's like, "How much you have to pay Shaq to come do all that?" I'm like, he paid us. He bought 5 alarms. Like, we didn't even pay him for this. He just showed up.
He refused to take them?
He took the 5 alarms and so I'll get to that in a second.
Right.
So we're like, "Hey, would you just cut like a straight promo if we just put a camera right on you where you hold the alarms?" He's like, yeah, of course. He's like, "Give me them." So he like Shaq holding 5, like I can't hold 5 alarms in my arms, but he can. So he's like, "I bought all these keep car alarms to keep my car safe. You need to get these." And then he puts them down. We like cut a few of those, like a couple different takes. He's like, "Get as many takes as you want while I'm up here." And then he's like, "Ian, so here's what you need to do. cut a 15-second, a 30-second, and a 60-second out of all this. Mash it up, get some good music into it, make sure you show all the different features, get me into it all you want. Remember, people only stay on at 1.1 seconds on average before they go to the next video. So you got to have something great at the very beginning. And it was like, okay. And he goes, when you post them, hit me up on that collab button and I'll share it with all my followers. Bro, he's got 32 million Instagram followers.
Yes, he does.
And I'm looking at him, I'm like, yeah, of course. Hit you with that collab. I don't even know what the collab button means. I'm not sure what that means. I think I have to add him. But I was like, I'm looking at Dave and I'm like, first and foremost, we don't have the inventory.
How old is Madison? 11?
Madison's 10.
Ask your 10-year-old. She knows how to do it.
Yes. I'm sure. She was like, yeah, Daddy, come on. Give me a break. But like, Frankie, we don't have the inventory for him.
Of course not.
To do an ad to 32 million people saying buy this. Like, we don't, it would wipe us out. Like, we got to figure that, we almost have to figure out the round first.
Yep.
So regardless,
sounds like you have an investor ready to go.
Wait, listen to this. So my story's not over, bro. So
of course not.
So I told you, like last time, he'll just start pulling out his phone and giving you numbers and calling people right in front of you. Like, how do I help you? He's like a great connector. That's his.
It's his magic power.
His superpowers. He's the best pitch man I've ever seen him. I've never seen anyone riff and just sell a product. He didn't even know exactly how the product worked, and he absolutely crushed these like promos. He didn't have to cut them twice.
Oh.
He's a pitch man like nothing you've ever seen. He lights up a room. I've never seen anything like it. Like, it's just, he's phenomenal. He's phenomenal. He's next level, and he's just such a lovable, that's who he is in person. He's like that nice. But the other superpower, his network is out of control. So I'm going to explain how. So we're all just kind of having a little talk. And by the way, he rolled up with a chain that had so much ice on it, and it said DJ Diesel on it. This chain, he took it off when he started because he couldn't have the lavalier and this huge chain. So he's like, come here, you. And he points over to Cody, who's one of Dave's friends who came to help us. He's got a Keep shirt on. He goes, come here. He takes it off. He goes, I need you to hold this. He puts it around his neck, and it's like, the thing's like 10 pounds. Like, it goes around. I mean, Frank, I asked Jenny to like look up how much a custom chain like that would cost. It's got to be 6 figures. The amount of ice on this thing, it was all diamonds. It was ridiculous. But anyway, so
DJ Diesel, also
DJ
my
Diesel,
nickname.
He's sitting there talking to us, and he says, so what stores you guys going to sell this in? And we didn't really have an answer for that. I was like, well, we haven't approached retail. We're doing really well on social media. That's where you saw a lot of our stuff. We're selling everything direct on our website. But if we could choose one to start, it'd probably be, David said, if we could choose one to start, it'd be Best Buy. He's like, Best Buy. Okay. He pulls his phone out, starts hitting something, and you hear a phone ringing and FaceTime going, right? And guy pops up on the other line, and he's like, Brett. He's like, hey, it's Shaq, man. And he's like, Jack, how you doing? Right? And he goes, hey, I'm with guys that got a company that's just going to blow up. These guys are going to be the ring for car alarms, man. This product, I'm not joking. You need it. You'll sell thousands of them. You'll make a lot of money. He's like, I'm going to invest in this company. These guys are great. Like, you need to have this. You need to talk to my guy, Ian. And he just gives me the phone. He puts me on the phone with like the head of consumer tech for Best Buy. And the guy's like, hey, Ian. And I'm like, hey, Brad, or whatever his name was. I'm like,
is there a T at the end of that? Is there an N?
I'm like, so should I just give you my phone number? He's like, yeah, okay. And he like grabs a pen, and I give him my phone number. He goes, you Chicago? I'm like, yeah, that's a Chicago number. I lived there forever. He goes, I'm in Chicago. And I'm like, okay, we'll see you soon. He takes his phone back, hits end. And then I'm like, all right, so you're putting these in 5 cars? He goes, yeah, I haven't figured out which ones, but I'm like, do you just have a guy that works on all your cars that you want us to just work with? He goes, yeah. That's my guy, D-Mac. Calls D-Mac. Hey, like gets me in the picture, like he's doing this with like the phones, and both of us are in there. This is this is Ian. He works for, Keep Car Alarms. I bought 5 of those car alarms I told you about. Need to get them installed. So maybe just work it out with Ian what your schedule is and get these things installed. And like D-Mac's like, hey, Ian, I gave him my number. He texts me. So we got to go back over to Shaq's house, which will be fun to see his garage. See what kind of car. I think he has like 50, 60 cars there. Then he's like, okay, so you guys said you guys are gonna have investors coming in, and we're like, whether we are or not, like we want to work with you, so yes. And so he gets on the phone, calls, makes another call, and this guy picks up, and it's his manager.
Yeah.
And he's like, hey, I'm with those guys from the car alarm company. He's like, I want to do a deal with them. Get together with these guys. I want to do a deal. And Frankie, he goes, don't fuck these guys. I don't need to fucking kill them. I just want to get in the deal. It's going to make a ton of money for all of us. He's like, I want in this deal. I've been helping these guys for a couple of years.
Is he still mic'd?
He's mic'd for all. We have it all on video, audio. It's mic'd. He goes, don't fucking kill them. And he goes, don't invite so-and-so, like some other name of someone, which I'm assuming is like their finance guy that always tears apart the numbers. He's like, don't kill these guys. I love this product. I want to work with these guys. Find a way to make this work. And he's like, here, hands me it again. I'm like, hey, I'm Ian. He's like, hey, Ian, nice to meet you. And I gave him my number. That guy sent me a text right afterward, and that's Shaq's manager. He lives in LA, so I got to follow up with him. And
I am your West Coast representative. I don't mind if we don't stop in Vegas. I'll just go with you out there. I know my way around.
Well, we're going to Vegas on Friday and Saturday of this week, and we could use someone to help us in the booth and go to LA if Ellie will let you. We could use some help, real good salesmanship. Need a good salesman,
of course,
and blackjack player. So that kind of ends that, and then he takes a shitload of selfies with us, like as many pictures as we wanted. So we could kind of, like, all the camera guys got pictures with him. He puts his arms around everyone. His hand is like, it's enormous. And then he didn't want to walk back. So he's like, Dave, you give me a ride to Subway. So Dave drove to Subway, dropped him off at Subway. He gets out of the car and just wanders into Subway by himself, gets himself a sandwich. He'd been thinking of Subway the whole time. And Dave said as soon as he got in the car, like, the cameras were gone. He was back to like kind of subdued,
pretty chill,
thinking about food. Called one of his boys to say meet me over at Subway. There wasn't a lot more talking after that, and that was the end of it. Like that was like it was 30 minutes of.
Did the Best Buy guy follow up with you?
He texted me immediately.
Okay, good. All 3 of them did.
Everyone texted me immediately.
Jesus.
And so we're going to go follow up with all of them. So like, you know how this works. Who knows what terms they're going to offer, but
of course.
Dave and I are of the mindset, we need to find a way to, let's find a way to work together.
Yeah.
And where there's value for both of us, and you're getting in early, because he did get into Ring, but he got in really late. He got into Ring after the product was on the shelves at Best Buy and Home Depot. That's kind of, pretty late to get in on a startup. We have like 500 devices in existence, and now about 3,000 will be out soon. So he could get in really early. And when you talk about like an investor that could help, like, what do we need help with right now? Our product works. We need distribution. We need marketing. We need brand. We need buzz. We need energy. We need a pitch man. He's the diesel. Like, you just see him walking around. Everyone freaking loves the guy. It's like,
are you going to still try and get on Shark Tank?
I don't think we'd have any interest in doing that if Shaq wants to come in.
Right. You should ask him about that, because I'm sure him and Cuban are boys. I would be so curious to see what he says about that.
So my angle would be if we talk to Shaq, it'd be, and he were to get in, I would look to see if Shaq could help us partner up with Gary Vee.
Yeah.
Because again, our challenges are all about marketing. And all Shark Tank is a big commercial, but Gary Vee and Shaq they could help you out a lot on the advertising and marketing, social media campaigns. You know what I mean? Like that would be a fun thing because we've already done something with Gary Vee and Shaq is good friends with him. That would be kind of cool to go try to get another star marketer to go move a cool
Can
idea.
you imagine if you got a freaking little advertisement on every pizza box in all 200 of his stores?
I mean, there's so many things that he can help you with. It's outrageous. But Frankie, that story I just told you, literally, in a fever dream, you couldn't type up a script better.
Man.
Like in my wildest, most optimistic, best case scenario, what happens out of this meeting with Shaq, that wasn't in it. Like he exceeded everything we thought could happen, and our product kicked ass. Like Jonathan and David's hard work on making sure the product was right. It was just the most fun day. And then Frankie, you'll like this. We got drunk.
Oh God, yeah.
Oh God, yeah. When you have a day that good, they don't come around in business too much. You get after it. We got some chilled tequila and anejo shots. We got some good wine. We closed the bar down celebrating because it was.
Where'd you go? What bar?
We went right back to the Four Seasons. We went back to the Bar Margot and crushed it. And my hotel I was not staying at the Four Seasons because I'm still cheap. That's before Shaq. Maybe after Shaq, I'll stay there. But you know how it is when you're in a startup. There's just so many days where you're just eating shit and wondering if this is ever going to work, or and this year has been really tough on David and Jonathan and me to a lesser extent, but we've had a lot of shit to eat with customers when brand new product and it's not doing everything it's supposed to do all the time. It's been a humbling year. So when you get a day like that, where it's like 5 years of work gets kind of affirmed a little bit by someone who could really help you, it's a special day. It's
hell yeah.
We kind of knew in the moment, like these kind of days don't happen too often in a career period, like over 50 years. So it was a really, really cool day. And as an investor in Keep, I'm sure you're excited that we took that $11,000 swing 3 years ago. Just a cool lesson on risk, reward, upside, dreaming. There's so many cool, kind of just wished it into existence, right?
So number one, I never questioned it. And as you know, I go to a bunch of different conferences, seminars, and other things, right? And one of Tony Robbins' favorite sayings is proximity is power. Mm-hmm. You paid 11 grand for proximity and you picked the right guy. You weren't fanboys. I mean, the other thing, I don't know where I've heard this lately, but I was listening to something and it was like the key to success is just grinding. Just people who have an unwavering desire to succeed and not take no for an answer. And when that happens, I mean, I know what you guys have been up to. I mean, you a lesser extent, but especially David, it's a passion, and it's the only way to get through it. And you got to take shots, and what a cool freaking story! I cannot wait to play that message. I sent that message to my dad. I'll call him later tonight and tell him the whole story. He is gonna love it.
Yeah, I'm proud of the boys. They all the engineers that have worked on it. I mean, just the device is awesome, and it's like, man, it's cool to see the payoff in what our technical team has built. And it's cool. Like David and I were just talking today, there's not like one little thing that happened here. It was like him taking the risk to bid on it, us talking about how much money do we bid, the amount of research we did into the first Shaq meeting to connect well with him and get along so well, the follow up, the social media presence that we've built with lots of followers and all the videos showing all the features. And there's not like one thing that got us to this place. There's hundreds and hundreds of small changes that all of a sudden it's that quote that I love, which is gradually then all at once. I love that line. It's like, that's how good things happen.
It's like we teach sales in our company frequently. And the trick to selling is not a big flourishing close. It's a series of small closes. I mean, you can say it 1,000 different ways. How is Rome built, brick by brick? Every day, one over the other, and it just starts to add up. And every overnight success is 10 years in the making.
Yeah, man, it's awesome. It's just so fun. It's so fun. All right, bro. Well, this has been fun. For our loyal listeners, we gave them a little taste. Don't get too excited. We're not back on our weekly schedule, but you are going to start getting a little bit more content dripped back, and we'll be back after it next year because Frankie and I miss all of you.
Ian, this was a good time.
Good time, bro. Good times.
Congratulations, brother. I can't wait. I'll tell you what my old man says when I talk to him.
Hey, Sheriff, we're all going to be rich. See you, bro.
See you.
If you like what you just heard, and judging by the viewership numbers, you did, hit that follow button and leave us a 5-star review. It helps other people find the show. It lets Frankie and I know that, a few people are listening to this.